Fleet Commander Vox had seen many things during his 300 cycles of military service to the Collective, but nothing had prepared him for what he'd observed through the surveillance feed. On the primitive blue-green world called Earth, a small human child sat cross-legged before a glowing screen, manipulating what appeared to be a rudimentary control device. "What am I looking at exactly?" Vox asked, his secondary eyes narrowing while his primary pair remained fixed on the display. Intelligence Officer Trell shifted uncomfortably. "That's a human juvenile, approximately 10 Earth years old. The locals call him Tommy. He's playing what they term a video game, a primitive simulation." Vox watched as virtual starships on the child's screen executed complex maneuvers, splitting formations before converging in devastating pincer movements against enemy forces. The digital explosions that followed each successful engagement seemed to delight the child, who occasionally shouted triumphantly. "And why," Vox asked slowly, "does this merit my attention?" Trell's skin paled slightly. "Compare the battle strategies in the child's game to these," he said, bringing up another display showing actual combat footage from the Collective's recent encounter with human forces at Proxima Centauri. Vox felt a chill spread through his thermal nodes. The similarities were impossible to miss. The same unconventional approach vectors, the same seemingly chaotic, ultimately coordinated attack patterns, the same devastating results. "This is coincidental," Vox said, not believing his own words. "Respectfully, Commander, it is not," Trell replied. "We've been monitoring Earth communications for years. This game, Stellar Conquest, was released to human consumers 3 years before our first military engagement with them. Every tactic we've encountered, every strategy that has cost us thousands of warriors and dozens of capital ships, they all appear in this entertainment product for children." Vox stared at the human child, who was now leaning forward intensely, tongue slightly protruding from the corner of his mouth in concentration as he orchestrated a complex flanking maneuver. But how? Are they somehow testing military doctrines through consumer entertainment? "It's worse than that," Trell said. "According to our analysis, this game's developer, a human named Bill, was never affiliated with their military. He created these battle algorithms based on something they call intuition and what felt right for gameplay purposes." Vox's brow ridges furrowed. "You're suggesting that humans intrinsically understand warfare patterns that our military academies spent decades teaching?" "Not all humans, certainly," Trell clarified, "but enough do. And they share these insights through their entertainment networks, refining them through what they call competition and fun. The child you're watching has played this game for approximately 400 Earth hours. In that time, he has developed tactical approaches that our simulators cannot counter with conventional doctrine." On the screen, Tommy whooped as his virtual fleet executed a perfect feint and strike maneuver, drawing enemy forces into a gravity well before attacking from an unexpected vector. "We lost the cruiser Asterisk, Indomitable Asterisk, to that exact maneuver last month," Vox whispered. "Yes, Commander. The humans who executed it were likely trained on games like this one." Vox watched silently for several more minutes, his discomfort growing as the child intuitively executed strategies that would have earned commendations at the Collective's War College. "There's more," Trell added hesitantly. "Our deepest intelligence assets report that human military organizations worldwide are now actively recruiting from their gamer population. Their space forces have begun employing teenagers who excel at these simulations, pairing them with experienced officers. They're weaponizing play," Vox murmured. "In a manner of speaking, yes. While our warriors train in rigid doctrines established over millennia, human children explore thousands of possible tactical variations while experiencing pleasure. They call it having a blast." The commander's crest flattened against his skull, a sign of deep distress in his species. "What do our analysts recommend?" "Disengagement, sir. Immediate and total. The humans don't just adapt to warfare. They enjoy the process of adaptation itself. Our predictive models suggest that continued conflict will only accelerate their tactical evolution." On the screen, Tommy had finished his game session and was now scrolling through what appeared to be modification tools, designing his own scenarios and ship configurations. They're not just playing war games, Vox realized. They're creating new ones, continuously. Precisely, Commander. Even now, this child may be developing the strategy that defeats our next offensive. Vox made a gesture that terminated the feed. His decision was immediate and, for a military leader of his standing, unprecedented. Send word to the High Command. I am recommending immediate cessation of all hostilities with Earth and its colonies. We should pursue diplomatic relations while we still maintain technological superiority in some domains. The Admiralty will demand an explanation, Trull warned. Commander Vox gestured toward the now dark screen. Tell them we cannot defeat an enemy who teaches its young to defeat us for fun. Tell them that every human child with a gaming console is a potential tactical genius operating beyond our strategic paradigms. He paused. And tell them that in the time we've had this conversation, thousands more human children have just logged on to play. As the intelligence officer hurried away, Vox remained, contemplating the peculiar species that had turned recreation into the most effective military training program he had ever encountered. Humanity didn't just fight wars. They played at them, loved them, reinvented them constantly. And that made them the most dangerous adversary the collective would ever face.